Okay, hi guys, welcome back to another video from A-Level Lessons Online. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some A-Level hacks in order for you to actually ace the A-Levels. I actually took the A-Levels last year, the 2018 batch, okay, and scored A in both H2 Geography and H2 Economics. So I'm basically going to share with you all the tips that I have in order for you to really ace the A-Levels in these two subjects particularly. Okay, so we're gonna just quickly move on. Okay, so firstly we're gonna start with geography. Okay, so I did H2 geography, but some of the things which I'm gonna share can also be applicable to the H1 kids. Okay, right. So basically for H2 geography, okay, when you're looking at essay writing, okay, you have to always remember that there's there's a way to actually score well. Okay, you don't have to worry about memorizing content. Okay, for me, I always believe that memorizing content should only be around 30% of everything. So basically, your essay should really just be focusing on your skills. Okay, so one way you can actually build on these skills, okay, is called through the use of yardsticks. Okay, so I use yardsticks, okay, for all my essays. So basically, yardsticks are there to help you pitch your argument, okay, and make it basically more convincing. Okay, so for instance, you can use certain yardsticks such as stakeholders, sustainability, or spatial variations. So basically, stakeholders would mean things like comparing between consumers, firms, as well as the government. Okay, how do they actually work around, let's say, a certain topic? So let's say if you're looking at human geography, you're looking at traffic congestion. Okay, how is it so that consumers play a part? How do producers play a part, and how does the government do it? Alright, then next you're looking at sustainability. Okay, in fact, there's a whole part of the syllabus which is just on sustainable development. Okay, but sustainability itself can also be used as a factor. So for instance, if you're looking at, let's say, in terms of uh, waste management, okay, how is it so that one strategy, for instance your take back programs, right, can be more sustainable than another? So in that case, it's kind of like comparing between different factors per se. Okay, and lastly will be your spatial variations. Okay, spatial variations is slightly more tricky, okay, and tends to be more applicable towards your physical geography. Okay, so for instance, spatial variations can be things like the difference in climatic zones. Okay, so let's say if you're looking at your Köppen climate, okay, I actually covered it in another video, you can check it out. Your Köppen climates, certain areas are, let's say, your tropical monsoon climates, while others could be your arid climate. So for instance, your BSH, BWH, the desert, and your steppes, right? So in that case, you could always compare between the two, right? And then in your essay, you can basically talk about how there are spatial variations in certain climates, okay, and which is why there could be, for instance, anomalies. So basically, your yardsticks are there to really just help you argue. So for example, if your stand is, let's say if you're looking at a physical job essay on, let's say, cars. Okay, let's say your stand is that water plays the most important role, right? Then what you're going to do is try your essay. You're going to have to do basically use this yardstick of, let's say, spatial variations to show how water can actually influence cars on many different spatial variations. Okay, and basically, let's say there are some anomalies. For example, cars cannot occur in the tropical desert. Okay, so that is in itself a spatial variation. Okay, so the next thing would be for your case studies. Okay, you need to have case studies for every single essay. Okay, so I would recommend is you go and compile a list, okay, of case studies for every single chapter. Okay, and this is important as it provides you with ample examples for your essay. Okay, your essay really requires examples for you to back up your argument. Okay, you cannot have an argument without any examples. So go and compile a list of examples. Okay, I'm sure your school has already provided you with some. Okay, and then build on it. So for example, your Curitiba waste management program, as well as traffic congestion measures. Okay, Curitiba actually does both. So if for any essay that involves such topics, you can actually reuse Curitiba as an example. So go and compile a list and then compare them. Okay, so that is easier and more convenient for reference. Okay, so moving on to DRQ, okay, your data response questions. Okay, basically DRQ, you should always be aiming to get an A, okay, because DRQ is actually very simple, okay. Um, there are a lot of different question types, okay, but they all have the same format all the time, okay. You just need to follow the answering techniques for these formats. Okay, so the first one is of course the easiest, okay, your describe questions. So describe questions, very simply, just need to list out the pattern that is seen. Okay, so it will be basically what is seen in the data. Okay, you just need to describe. Okay, do not explain. Okay, if you explain, you're going above and beyond, there's no point, there's no mark given. And if the examiner doesn't like the explanation, they can even mark you down. Okay, so for describe questions, just simply describe what is being seen in the data. Okay, for explain questions, okay, you need to use evidence from the actual sources provided, okay, to justify your explanation. So basically, explanation should always require you to use your concepts that you have already learned. Okay, so go back and go and revise your concept, okay, and then see how they can be applied to your data response questions, okay. There will always be a concept linking, for example, a question on, let's say, monsoons. Okay, how are you going to link back, okay, your trade winds? How are you going to link back to your northeast monsoon, southwest monsoon? Okay, always link it back to the concepts in explanation questions. Okay, next for evaluate. Okay, so for evaluation questions, okay, you have to always form a stand. Okay, so this is basically like a mini essay, okay, whereby you need to form a stand, and then for me, what I would usually do, okay, is I will actually introduce my yardsticks again to show balance in the argument that I'm trying to make. Okay, so basically, evaluate questions is usually your 8-mark questions. So usually you just need to have one paragraph supporting and one paragraph against, and then one more paragraph for your stand. Okay, so we're going to point out certain differences between physical and human geography, okay, when it comes to DRQ. Okay, so physical geography tends to require more concepts. Okay, you need to really interpret and read the data carefully. Okay, for example, if there's some a data given on the world, okay, and they want you to find out, okay, where are the trade winds going to, okay, first you need to identify, is it a June or is it, oh sorry, I made a typo here, is it a June, July, or is it a December ITC? Okay, so you need to include directions, okay, as well as specific locations. So for example, the north of Africa has got rainfall at a certain period of time, or the south of wherever is experiencing cyclones, okay. And you also have to include evidence, okay, from whichever source. So always quote the source which you are giving your evidence. So for example, as seen from extract something, as seen from resource what, okay, then you quote the evidence found there. Okay, as for human geography, it's slightly different. Okay, in fact, it's actually easier. Okay, it requires more explanation. So human geography requires you to really make sense of what's going on. Okay, and then just explain. Okay, so you need to explain in simple terms. Okay, do not fluff around. Okay, because examiners do not actually like that. Okay, so for human geog, okay, you need to really explain very simply. Okay, if you want to quote unquote smoke, okay, you can go ahead and do it. Okay, but just do not fluff too much until you're really just beating around the bush. There's no point. Okay, so for human geography, just focus on evaluating, especially for the bigger mark questions, okay, because evaluation is where everything will come into play, okay, basically your yardsticks that you're going to use, okay, your benefits, your limitations, okay, human geography always revolves around those. Okay, so now we move on to economics. Okay, so economics is actually also an easy A, okay, if you can apply certain tricks and tips. Okay, so firstly for your essays, okay, you have to really manage your time properly, because actually in econs, okay, similar to job, actually job is also very demanding, okay, but econs is equally as demanding. You need to really manage your time. You're given 2 hours 15 minutes for 3 essays, right? And this is not even including your part A and part B. So technically, it could be even 6 essays if you split them apart. Okay, which means that for your 10-mark questions, you only have 20 minutes. For your 15-mark questions, you only have 25 minutes. So you need to stick to these. Okay, watch the time. Okay, when it changes, okay, let's say once it hits the 20-minute mark, just switch. Stop doing that part A of the question. Okay, move on. Okay, because it's more worth it to get more marks than to focus on banking all your time into one portion only. Okay, so next is your analysis. Okay, so for econs essays, okay, your analysis is actually the most important part of your essay. So how do you show analysis? Okay, basically very simple, through diagrams. Okay, this is provided you have time, okay, which I highly recommend you include if you can. Here, as well as to include actual concrete analysis. So for example, there's a shift in demand from DD0 to DD1. Okay, specifically quote it, okay, and show that there is that analysis that you're trying to prove. Okay, so for econs essays, there's also this component of evaluation, which is also very, very important. Okay, it takes around your 5 marks, okay, of the 15-mark essay questions, and this is very, very crucial. Okay, so how to show evaluation? Okay, similar to before, okay, you have to make use of yardsticks to show the balance. Okay, so for example, show the various stakeholders involved, the benefits and limitations. So compare them and weigh them, and then after that, come to a justified stand of your own. So when you come to a stand, it really shows the examiner that you know what you yourself are talking about and you firmly believe in that. Okay, and that way then they can be equally convinced, okay, and if you really show good evaluation, this 5 marks will definitely boost your essay to an A grade essay. Okay, so for case studies, okay, case studies are actually the easier marks to get. Okay, so you really need to focus on nailing the first 12 marks. Okay, these are the most crucial 12 marks you'll ever get. Okay, they're actually the easiest to get, okay? And for the 8 and 10 mark questions, you just need to show proper balance, okay? Read the cases properly, okay? Include evidence, make use of your yardsticks if possible, and the 8 and 10 marks questions should actually just be as simple as your normal essay. Okay, so I'm going to go more into detail for these. Okay, for your 2 mark questions, okay, usually the question really just wants you to see something from the data. So very simply, you just need to describe what you are seeing. Okay, don't think too much for these kind of questions. Really just say what it is. For example, if the data shows that there's a fall in the value of yuan, okay, does that mean it's a depreciation or is it an appreciation? Okay, so if it's a depreciation, let's say it's relative to, let's say, the Sing dollar, okay, then very simply just quote that the value of the yen has depreciated. And like that, that is your 2 marks done. Okay, so actually the 2 mark questions are really very easy to get. Do not overthink it. Look at the data, read it properly, and just spill out whatever you see. Okay, for the 3 to 6 mark questions, okay, these can range from anything. Okay, I've seen 3 mark questions from one school, which is the same question as another school which sets it at 6 marks. Okay, so it can really be anything. Okay, but usually there's a pattern. So this type of questions usually demands you for your concepts and theories. So go and study up all your theories. For example, it could be something like your oligopolies. Okay, they could be asking you a question on how is it so that, let's say, a price war may break out. Okay, so it all just links back to oligopoly. Their mutually interdependent behavior, their rivalry, all that kind of things. And then you just need to apply it. Okay, just apply your concepts inside, show analysis, and usually your 3 to 6 mark questions are also quite easy to bank in. Okay, so the trickier questions, okay, comes to your 8 to 10 mark questions. Okay, so these questions are definitely more demanding. Okay, you need to quote evidence from the case study. So you need to, for me, what I do is when I head into an exam, first thing I do is I highlight everything. So I highlight, no, it's not everything. I highlight the main evidence that I think I will be needing, and the evidence that gives me hints to the questions. Okay, so for such questions, you also need to form an argument and make it balanced as well through the use of yardsticks. So you need to come to an overall stand, okay, and how does it coincide with whatever the case study is trying to say as well. Okay, so that will be all for this short little video. Okay, I actually the reason why it's going to be this short is because I'm going to actually be going through sample past A-level questions, okay, and how to actually answer them specifically. So go ahead and just subscribe, okay, so that you can keep up to date with the latest videos. Okay, I'll be going through more of specific questions, okay, specific 2 mark questions, specific 8 mark questions, specific 3 to 6 mark questions, okay, geog and econs both equivalent over the course of the year before your A levels come. Okay, if not, I hope that this short little cheats and hacks for A levels actually help. Okay, overall in A levels, just remember to always get enough rest. Okay, rest is extremely important. Okay, and manage your time properly. If you manage your time properly, get enough rest, your brain will be kept very fresh. Okay, and that will help you to definitely score very well in the A levels. Right, so if not, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, be sure to subscribe. Leave any comments if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.